Man, Apple's working on their own VR headset, according to Bloomberg, and I believe the working part. I just don't believe the release part of this report. But perhaps Apple just hates Facebook so much that they're like, you know what, we're gonna compete with you guys on anything you have to offer. That's something I could see Apple doing. Let's begin. So Bloomberg has a somewhat reliable track record, and they've been dropping all kinds of leaks like crazy, so the fact that they've been dropping a lot lately makes me feel like, okay, some of this is probably gonna end up not happening, right? And at the very top of that list of the, like, press X to doubt meme, I am looking at these reports saying that it's an AR, VR headset, which I don't really get. It's like virtual reality, covers your face, augmented reality, puts things on top of what you're already looking at. So I guess that this is gonna be like a VR headset, but with cameras on it, although the report itself is saying that the ability to put things in the real world is going to be somewhat limited, and this is primarily going to be a device for gaming and watching videos and entertainment. Personally, the main thing that confuses me about this report is how the software would work, because as we all know, Apple and desktop gaming have never really meshed super well. You know, Apple doesn't care too much about Steam or VR games, which they recently, stopped supporting, and they used to brag about VR experiences in the past, and now not so much. And what Oculus and more consumer-grade virtual reality headsets are going for are kind of like taking mobile games and taking experiences that are available on the Play Store and then putting them on a headset, right? And you can either slide your phone in a VR headset, or now they have dedicated headsets that you don't need to put a phone in them, but still, they're using smartphone CPUs and they're being built on the ARM architecture and that kind of thing. So if Apple was to make their own VR headset, it would probably be more oriented around the iOS App Store, which has a few VR experiences, but not really enough, in my opinion, to warrant a whole dedicated product line. Now, I could be wrong here, and perhaps Apple's developing this VR headset so that they can launch, a brand new streamlined version of the App Store with a whole bunch of new VR and augmented reality experiences so that you can put on this headset, look through the cameras at the world around you, and then paste things on top of them. And then basically this is how Apple sells us on Apple glasses without having to release actual Apple glasses. I must say, in all the developments of head-mounted wearables that we've heard from Apple, this one kind of makes sense to have in the pipeline. I mean, it does sound fairly complicated. The report is suggesting that Apple's going to have even more higher resolution displays than what the competition is using, and it's going to be a very niche product because it's so much more expensive than all of the headsets it's competing with, which range between $300 and $900. Bloomberg is saying it's going to cost more than that. So we're easily looking at like a $1,000 VR headset that will be glorified at running VR games that are from the iOS App Store. But apparently they'll be running really, really fast, because the report also indicates that this headset is going to be rocking a fan, which not even the MacBook Air has, and Apple Silicon built inside that's going to be faster than that of the M1 chip, which is currently, the fastest piece of silicon Apple has ever developed, and they're saying there's going to be a chip faster than that built into a headset, probably so that they can support, those super high resolution displays, and for immersive purposes, they're going to make sure that they run at a very high frame rate, which matters a lot in virtual reality, so making the displays run at 120 hertz probably would make sense. And the part that makes me think this is just a prototype that Apple's experimenting with and they're not exactly sure if they want to release it is the part where they start going on about how the headset is so compact and small that it will be so close to your eyeballs that you cannot wear glasses while wearing the headset. So to combat this, Apple is going to partner with lens prescription makers and let you set the prescription lenses you need within Apple's VR headset, so that if you need glasses and you want to try the headset on, they will build in the exact right lenses you need. That way you have an Apple custom pair of lenses for the VR headset so you can put them on without needing glasses. Sounds very intricate and very complex for quite a niche product, and something that would need to happen in order for Apple to launch their own VR headset is for a wide catalog of games and experiences. And I don't know about the watching videos thing. I really just don't understand how that would be a very compelling reason to be like, no, don't watch videos on your iPad or iPhone, just strap this thing on your face and watch them in there, and you'll just be blindfolded the whole time. I don't know, with mobile VR, we've had kind of a hard time seeing it go mainstream, you know? It's grown in popularity over the years, and Oculus and HTC have made it more approachable to a lot of people, but especially when it comes to like Google Daydream or Samsung VR, you hardly hear anybody talking about that stuff these days, and just kind of porting over iOS experiences to a VR headset, especially one that's going to be like $1,000. If it has a small user base because not enough people are buying it and it's not too common of a VR headset, then you're probably not going to get a bunch of third-party developers running to optimize stuff for it. I know there's some of you watching that are like, well, I'm a big fan of Apple and I like VR, so I would develop stuff for it, but I mean like average everyday consumer stuff, I'd be very curious to see how that ages. And the Bloomberg report is saying they don't even expect it to sell very well, pretty much as low volume as the $6,000 Mac Pro. So quite a high-class product, which means, sure, the resolution and the frame rate and the design of everything might look cool and streamlined, but I'm still not convinced that that type of VR headset is going to get a bunch of people to buy, you know, a $1,000 wearable that they have to strap on their face. And it's not really fashionable like an Apple Watch or AirPods, where you can kind of put them on and just go about your day. No, this headset honestly sounds like something that you're gonna make sure, you know, you're by yourself in a room, or other people make sure you don't run into the TV or run into the wall or anything. It's not gonna be the type of VR headset you plug into a PC or a Mac in this case. It's gonna be self-isolated, but the report itself even admits that plans have not been finalized, the design is not finalized, and they may end up scrapping the product altogether. And as soon as I read that part, I was like, yep, I think that's the one. That's my vote. I think that, sure, there are headsets internally at Apple they're messing around with so they can do a lot of the software and beta testing for the eventual Apple Glass, which this report still says is years away and not close to being finalized. And best case scenario, we would see it in 2023, and that sounds more believable to me. But in the meantime, you know, developers want to work on a reality-based operating system, so they need a headset of sorts with, you know, ultra-wide cameras on it so that they can put it on and have LiDAR tracking and put holograms in front of us so that they can train their algorithms and whatnot. But do they need to sell those prototypes for Apple Glass development and have this kind of mid-step of, oh, okay, now we have a VR headset that lets you play certain games and it costs $1,000, and if you need glasses, you're gonna need custom prescription lenses to put in here, which is most likely gonna drive up the price. So reading all that, I was like, I don't know, doesn't really sound like something Apple would do. I feel like if they cared about VR, they would probably be doing more about it right now. And honestly, it feels like Apple was more interested in virtual reality in 2017 when they were demoing it back on stage at Quadruple UDC, and now they've kind of discontinued all that. And I've come to the conclusion that if your game is demoed at Quadruple UDC, it will more than likely get discontinued within a few years. That seems to happen with Fortnite, with Minecraft, Apple TV Edition, and with the VR experiences. Like, it always just ends up not happening whenever they demo it there. It's a curse. But either way, I would be very interested, not to say I don't want Apple to release a VR headset, because I have messed around with a few of the newer Oculus headsets, and I have tried out on the Vive before, and it's interesting stuff, but not quite as immersive as I think it could be. So to see Apple's take on a VR headset, don't get me wrong, that would be super interesting, and I would probably try one out myself. But knowing Apple and knowing the types of things they don't release to market because they want it to be more simple and streamlined and easy to market, and headsets are kind of a difficult thing to market because you can't just show people what it's like, they have to experience it. This is one of those projects or one of those Bloomberg reports I could end up seeing not happening or being way later than we think. And they were saying this was going to happen next year, not this year. So my guess is next few years, plans are going to change, and Apple would rather just go straight to the Apple Glass route and just go straight to augmented reality and bypass the whole virtual reality thing, which Tim Cook said they don't see much potential in anyway. But what are your thoughts? Would you buy a VR headset from Apple, especially if it was north of $900? What features would it have to be justified at that cost to you? Feel free to let me know. This is your Apple Sheep here. See you guys in the next one.